group of civil society organizations burnt their masks today as a sign of protest in Philippi, Cape Town. The organizations are opposed to the wearing of masks. They say there's no scientific evidence to prove that masks prevent the spread of COVID-19. As a result, people should not be forced to wear them. Please do note, however, that eNCA does not condone breaking the law and the refusal to wear face masks. We're, however, following this story live as it unfolds and will continue to educate and inform those who disregard COVID-19 regulations. Nobesuthu Hejana has been following that story for us a little bit earlier and joins us now with the latest. Nobesuthu, why is this group encouraging people not to wear masks?
Well, Anley, like you've said in your intro, they say that there's no scientific proof that by wearing a mask you will not contract the coronavirus, even though the World Organization as well as government does say that it is a measure that is used to curb the spread of COVID-19. But one of the local artists that we spoke to there, he says that people die of not being able to breathe, and by wearing a mask you are actually encouraging people not to be able to breathe fresh air. They're saying that government is not being transparent as to why people should wear their mask, and they need a thorough explanation as well as why should people be taking the vaccine. But let's take a listen to what Oluwethu Stimela had to say about their reasons of not wanting to wear masks.
We have a system that doesn't really cater for our needs, but then it expects us to follow rules that it doesn't explain to us why those rules should be implemented or should be followed. And then so if you don't care enough to explain to us why are we wearing a mask that is actually not beneficial for our health. For example, you can run if you're wearing a mask. I'm an artist. I work with artists that dance and use their body physically like a lot. And then now when you're wearing a mask, it actually makes you breathe harder than when you actually don't have a mask. So if they're one of the symptoms of this corona thing is being able to breathe, why are you putting something over your nose, which is also a symbol of actually you closing? Your breathing is not normal now.
Nobesuthu, there is so much scientific evidence that has been shared with people all over the world. Amazing to think that some people have not exposed themselves to that information yet. But the City of Cape Town's Community Services and Health says it's disappointed in the group. Just on that note, have there been any arrests?
Well, when we were there as they were protesting, we did see about three law enforcement cars as well as police officers who actually stopped to ask them what are they doing, and they just explained that they are fighting for their rights. And as soon as they were done, those cars left, and not asking why that group was not wearing masks. And those people were saying that they do have a right to protest against what they believe is right for them. But the City of Cape Town's MACO member of Community Services and Health did say that he's very disappointed at people who are perpetuating this kind of narrative, as it is reckless and not in line with what various governmental spheres are trying to communicate about COVID-19 behavior. But let's take a listen to what Zahid Badruddin had to say about the protest by this group.
Masks protect us and the spread of the virus by preventing potential droplets either from being transmitted from oneself or being transmitted to a different individual. And therefore I believe it's very irresponsible of these individuals to perpetuate the narrative that goes against what various spheres of government, various organizations have been attempting to do in terms of the communication around responsible COVID behavior. I believe it's also further important to appreciate that these kinds of protests not only place the individuals at risk of those participating in it, but also those who they then may come into contact with. There's always a risk when going into large spaces, especially further worsened by going into these close contact spaces without the necessary protective measures.
Well, thank you very much for that, Nobesuthu Hejana, coming to us from our Cape Town studios there.